Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better best. This quote has been my life motto since I learned it in 6th grade. It's how I forced myself to continue to achieve, to do the best I could at whatever it is that I was working on. And it's really what pushed me forward. And all of that changed in 2017 with 3 words. It is cancer. Now, whenever you hear those words, it's a shock to the system. And my life at this point at 34 was always in my control, or so I thought. I did what I wanted to, and I lived however the world took me. And overnight, that changed. The morning after I was diagnosed, a friend was making me breakfast before I had to go to the hospital for more testing. And they held up a frying pan. They turned around to me and said, "You gave yourself cancer." Now, I know that that's not the exact truth, but it sparked a curiosity. How could someone say that, right? I had enough shock at this point, so I kind of had to set it aside. I got through all of the testing, and I learned that the type of breast cancer I had wasn't a genetic aspect that we knew about. Rather, I was told it was likely influenced by lifestyle and environment. Now, what could that mean? How could a 34-year-old healthy person be diagnosed with a life-threatening disease that's been told it's influenced by our lifestyle and environment? What does that mean? Well, I didn't really look into it until I was undergoing treatment, and finally, for the first time in life, I slowed down. Well, chemotherapy will do that to you, I can tell you. I finally had to slow down, and I had to look at the space directly around me. The things that I was putting on, in, and around my body, that was part of my lifestyle. And the more research I did, all of the main things popped up. It's how much you sleep. It's the water you drink. It's the food you eat. It's how much you exercise. All of those things change your life, and we talk about them every single day. And I felt, okay, I can start to control these things. But the one thing that I didn't really think about was all of the other little daily habits about the space that I was living in. It is those things that I put on, in, and around my body. It's the daily products that I use. It's the chemicals that I'm surrounded by. It's the air that I breathe, and it's the environment that I'm living within. And now that felt pretty out of control. So as I studied, I really started to understand that our skin, it's our largest organ. That's what's really absorbing everything that's around us. And I could start to control that by understanding what I was putting on my body, thinking about those daily habits. Now, redefining your lifestyle can be very overwhelming because we make tens of thousands of decisions every single day. Of those tens of thousands of decisions, 90% are habitual, 60% are habitually executed, which means you are not thinking about it. Think about how many of you brushed your teeth today? How many of you use toothpaste? How many of you know exactly what each of those products are made of and what happens at the end of the life cycle? I did not know that 8 years ago, and I really didn't have time to think about it. But when I started to slow down, I started to think about how I can design a lifestyle that is best for me. And I have to tell you, I have spent 20 years in human resources, so you probably wonder how any of this is related. But those 20 years taught me a couple of things. I designed organizations. I created processes and systems and ways of working that helped make humans better in the workplace. And now I could take those skills and apply it to how you build a lifestyle. And just like anything else that I built, it all starts with curiosity. The more curious we are, the more attention to detail we pay. And a lot of times, we have to be curious about all of the big things, right? If you buy a car, you're going to know every single detail. How many miles to the gallon, you pick the color, the moonroof, all of those details. But if you buy a hair product, you're going to think about the function of that product Is it going to make my hair curly? Is it going to give me that messy, I just left the gym bro look that everybody's going for? You're not going to think about what happens when that product goes into my scalp and on my skin. You're probably not thinking about what happened when it gets in our waterways and what it does to our environment. But when you slow down and think about those things, the things that you care the most about, you can start to make everyday decisions that are going to be better for you. There is so much research out there that will help us to make those decisions. I learned that the average woman puts 150 chemicals on her body every single day, some of which are safe and many of which are not, or we don't know. The Silent Spring Institute has done groundbreaking research and identified over 900 chemicals that are in everyday products that could impact our endocrine systems. You know, you hear about parabens and PFAs and microplastics in the world. We know those are impacting our environment. And this research is helping us to make decisions that are going to be better for our bodies. So as you get curious, it will help you to make better decisions, but you can't get curious about everything all at once. So you get curious about the things that you care about, the things that impact your life the most, where you spend your time and energy. For some, that might be going to the gym. You might do it every day. So the things that you might want to get curious about are the clothes that you're wearing while you're sweating and then you're reabsorbing that into your body, the deodorant that you wear that you want to smell good around other people, and guess what? They don't care. Think about what it's doing to your body. Or all of the cleaning supplies that they're cleaning the gym with that you're touching. That's where you can start to get curious. And as you get curious, you will learn about the things that you want to change, the swaps that you can make in your life. And those swaps are hard to do, and that is going to take courage. So as you get courage to make those swaps in those everyday lives, then you are going to find that small changes are just as hard to make as big changes. When I decided to change my laundry detergent because it was going on my clothing, that's touching my body, and then it's going into the earth, and I didn't want all of those microplastics going into the world, I thought it was going to be easy. And then I realized that my laundry detergent carries a scent, and that scent carries an emotion, because that meant that my clothes were clean, so I could probably wear them that day. It also meant when I got in bed at night that I was at home, because it smelled like home. And it took reminding myself every day when I got into my bed after I changed my laundry detergent that I was still clean and I was still safe, even though it didn't smell like it, because I had the knowledge from the curiosity and I had the courage to make the change, because what I cared most about was my health and this planet. And that is how the quote that I talked about at the beginning, courage for good, better, best, changed from a life motto of caring about how hard I worked and what I achieved to how I lived my lifestyle. And that is, how do I make decisions that are good for the planet, better for our communities, and best for you? So each one of us can make individual decisions. And as you get curious about the things you care about, then you make the change, you take them to your community, and you make the swaps, and you share that with others, and they care about something else, and the things that they care about, they're going to share with you. And with that shared information, we can all make better decisions together to create the best world for us to live in. And if you leave here today thinking about one thing, you can think about what you care about, get curious about it, share it with someone else, and know that you can live better one decision at a time. Thank you.